Let's set in a comfortable meditation posture and close the eyes. Put the attention on the silence that is always there deep in the mind. Connect with and become that silence. That is your silent witness. You are the silent witness. Now listen to the words of the Yoga Vasishta. Book 4, Chapter 45. Dependence of all on God. Nothing is lost, which doesn't exist. Vasishta continued. The world appears as substantial, but has nothing substantive in it. It is all emptiness, a mere representation of images and aimless digressions of the mind. Neither time nor space is filled by any world at all, but by the silent witness, who has no form except that of vacuum. This is all imaginary, and as visionary as a city seen in a dream. Whatever is seen anywhere is fallacy, existing in infinite emptiness. It is a painting without its base, a vision of unrealities. It is an uncreated creation and a multicolored picture without its canvas. The imagination of the mind has stretched the three worlds. And made the many bodies contained in them. Memory is the cause of these creations, as the eyesight is the cause of vision. The spectacle and display of the world is like a false representation, like the elevations and depressions in a painting. They are not distinct from the silent witness in which they are situated as buildings stand on their foundation. The mind has made the body for its home, as some silkworms build their cocoons. The soul, or Atman, also has its sheaths, or koshas. There is nothing which the mind cannot get or build in its empty imagination, however difficult or unattainable it may appear to be. What impossibility is there when the mind in its secluded cell possesses the same powers that reside in the omnipotence. What Vasishtha is discussing here is very important. It is the basis of all that we understand about individual existence. There is no such thing as individual existence. We are deluded by this information and this experience that we exist as individuals. This illusion arises from a combination of divine karmic traces and individual karmic traces. The individual karmic traces form the mind of the individual human being. But the divine karmic traces are also responsible for forming the mind and the foundation of the mind of the individual karmic trace individual being. The divine karmic traces are the memory in the mind of the creator of the world of Goloka and the companions of Krishna. Like when we have a dream, all of the elements in the dream are a composite of our memories. And these memories are stored in our individual karmic traces. The expression of the divine karmic traces creates the universe and the archetypal human being. Our ancestors created directly from the mind of the Creator. But all that we see around us is literally a dream in the mind of the Creator. And essentially, each one of us is a dream creature in that dream. The mind of the individual illusory being is a fractal representation of the mind of the Creator. Like in a three-dimensional holographic image. The image itself is complete illusion. But the image arises in a three-dimensional holographic image from a photographic plate where it is stored as frequency impressions. When a coherent light is illuminating this photographic plate, a three-dimensional image is projected. The elements of the photographic plate represent the defined karmic traces. And when those divine karmic traces are eliminated or activated or made alive by Paramjyoti, which is the effulgence of Krishna, the silent witness, then the illusion comes into being. The dream arises. What impossibility is there when the mind in its secluded cell possesses the same powers that reside in omnipotence? This is a clear statement that the individual human mind is a fractal representation, has the same powers as the cosmic mind, the mind of the Creator. It is not impossible, O Ram, for anything to be or not to be at any time or always when there is the omnipotent Lord who can create or annihilate all things at his will. This universe exists as a dream in the mind of the Creator. We can observe this dream from within the dream, which is the situation for almost all of humanity. Or we can observe this dream from a higher perspective, from the mind of the Creator. That is our objective. And when we do this, when we're observing from the mind of the Creator, this is the definition of moksha. This is liberation. Liberation from being confined in our understanding and thinking and actions and being to the workings of the dream. Remember that if the mind is empowered to make its own body and to form others in its imagination, how much more is the power of the Almighty to make and unmake all things at His will? It is divine will that has brought the gods, demigods, and all mankind into existence. It is by cessation of the will that they cease to exist, as a lamp is extinguished for lack of oil. See the sky and all things under it to be displayed by the divine will, and understand the universe as the visionary scene of your dream laid open to your sight. There is nothing that is born or dies here at any time, because everything is a nothing in its true sense. There is nothing that becomes more or less in any way when there is nothing in existence. How can the soul have a body when it is bodiless? How can the soul be divided when it is an undivided whole? Brahma, by your keen insights, you see that all these bodies are bodiless. as the mirage is made to appear by the heat of the sun, so do all these false appearances seem as true to you from the certainty of your individual mind. So also Brahma and others are only creatures of your fancy. They are as false as the sight of two moons in the sky. By your false imagination. It is the great fallacy of your mind that represents these false forms of the world before you. As the passenger in a boat sees the fixed objects on earth to be moving about him, so these varieties of visible objects offer themselves to your view. Know the world is an enchanted scene, presented by the magic of your error, Maya. It is a fabrication of the working of your mind. It is a nothing, though appearing as a reality. All this world is the silent witness. What else is there beside him? What other adjunct can he have? What is that? From where did it come? And where is it located? That this is a mountain and that is a tree are appendages affixed by your error and mistake. It is the prejudgment of the mind that makes unreality appear as a reality. Well, this is a very significant statement by Vasishta. Let's read it again. It is the prejudgment of the mind that makes unreality appear as reality. In this statement is the key to moksha. Prejudgment is the word. Prejudgment means having a preconceived idea. Preconceived idea means referring to a memory. A memory is something that occurred in the past. It is living not in the moment. It is being not centered and focused and existing only in the moment that makes the world appear real. This is a very fundamental and beautiful understanding. This is what Eckhart Tolle calls the power of the now. When one lives exactly, perfectly, exclusively in the moment, to such an extent that there is no moment to moment, it's all just one eternal now, reality. Then the world literally loses all of its validity as a reality. The world is seen as a succession of frequency waves that appear as some objects. But those frequency waves are like the waves in an ocean. They are waves in consciousness. And the object that they appear to represent is no object at all. The world literally disappears when we live in the now. When we live in the eternal, omnipresent, omniscient now, which is the silent witness, the world is obviously a projection of consciousness. It's exactly like being in a movie theater. When you look at the screen, you see characters running about, doing things, apparently living a life. When you look to the side, you don't see that, do you? You can literally look away from the universe when you're established in the now, in the silent witness. You don't have to always be watching what's going on in the universe. It's interesting, but it's also boring. There's nothing new happening. You're watching the same movie again and again and again and again and again and again. What joy is there in that? So instead of watching intently this movie of the unreality of existence, you glance at it from time to time. When the movie makes some noise, you might glance over at it, and there's a person wanting to speak to you. Very well. Observe that person. Listen to the words and respond to that person. But that does not break your connection with the silent witness. It changes nothing. You are still the established, eternal now. The world is the creation of error and the idol of fools. Shun your false desire and thoughts of it. And think of your unworldly soul. Be established in the silent witness. Even the fond desire of things of the world has no meaning when one is established in the silent witness. Desires will still exist for a time until all karmic traces are balanced. Then one is established in Brahman consciousness, moksha level 4. Vasishta is making an important point that during this transition from moksha level 1 to moksha level 4, it's important to ignore shun all impulses of the karmic traces. This is nothing new. This is the first instruction of dharana. Dharana is a laboratory of moksha. It is an ability of the mind to think a mantra, and between each think of the mantra, experience the silent witness, a glimpse of the silent witness. And our instruction is to ignore all thoughts that arise. We don't care about those thoughts, they have no meaning. Many times people tell me, oh, I had this inspiration in my meditation. I had this download. God told me many things during my meditation today. We have to talk about all these wonderful things that God told me today during meditation. God does not talk to you during meditation. You're talking to yourself during meditation. You told yourself some crazy story, and you became infatuated with what you told yourself during your meditation. It is valueless. We know that now. We can take that perspective in which we realize whatever thought arises during meditation has zero value. We placate the ego by saying, well, if it's real, it'll be there after the meditation. You don't have to stop your meditation and write it down. You shouldn't even pay attention to it during meditation. If it's real, it'll be there afterwards. But that's just for placating the ego, to get its cooperation, to sit still and ignore the thoughts that arise during meditation. That in itself is a big enough challenge for most people. The most common thing people forget about their instruction in meditation is thoughts that arise in meditation have zero value. Zero. Zero. God will never talk to you during meditation. Ascended masters will never talk to you during meditation. Your Acharya Devata will never talk to you during meditation. You are only talking to yourself during meditation. And you're talking to a very superficial karmic trace representation of yourself during meditation. So it's important to shun those thoughts and desires that arise in meditation for that very reason. Now let's continue established in the silent witness and start the process of Trimana Sanyama on the esoteric Maha Mantra. Ignoring all thoughts that arise, we will allow this powerful technique to balance all karmic traces that have been activated by today's reading. Jagurta.